Hi guys, in a previous video I took my hedge trimmer apart just as far as taking the bottom panel off so that we could find out what was broken. Which is this bit just here. Should look the same as that. So that is broken. I expect if I had a metalworking workshop I could fabricate a replacement bit, but that's not going to happen. I've had a look online for replacement parts for the Power 550 HTB, and there are no replacement parts available anywhere that I can find. I can get replacement brushes for the motor, but that's the only replacement parts that I can get. So we might as well finish taking it all the way apart and just sort of look at the bits. It's filthy black oily stuff on it because I regularly sprayed it with oil over the years. It's about it's at least 10 years old, I would say. So we'll just see if we can get the rest of it apart, just to look at the bits, and then I'll chuck them in the bag there and it'll go to the recycling centre. I don't know if I've got any reason to save the nuts and bolts. I'll think about that. I'll get a little tray to put the nuts and bolts in. Nuts and bolts usually come in useful. Can't think of any use for that circlip. So that bit's going to go in the bag. A couple of spacers there. Thought that might lift off then. I have got a little socket set somewhere. I expect I'll speed this up. Yeah, a bit of a shame. I would have thought you could have got replacement blades for this, and you probably could up to about 10 years ago. I'll just say again, I have got a proper set of sockets somewhere. I just can't bother to go and find them. Right, so that's the good one, still in one piece. Looks well worn. Right, next. This is the broken one. You know, if I throw this away, there'll be a time when I want a bit of spring steel like that. Bound to be. Okay. End cap, and then these have got square heads on them, so they hold themselves in place. That feels a little bit heavy to be aluminium. Looks like aluminium, but probably something else. A similar alloy, but not quite so light. Right, now to this fella. Are we still on screen? Yeah, just about. Okay, protective guard. Right. Now, this ought to come apart. There we go. My thumb's free. A retain nut there. Right, what can we see? Power comes in. Got a capacitor there. That's the main switch there from the looks of it. Spring there. got a... Right, I see. This thing here, when you pull that, it's pulling down on there. Can you see that? Which is why you have to pull on this one at the same time to pull the central lever down, which is the one that pushes the button. That central rod just there is the one that pushes that on-off switch. Right. There we go. So that little cable there is one half of the operation for that plunger. Looks like we've got to undo these screws to get the rest of it out to look at it. Ooh, that looks like it might be broken just there. The green plastic. I'll lift out now. Nearly. Yeah, that's the bit of plastic there. Broken off just there. Didn't affect the operation though. Right, a couple more screws to undo. Right, now the electronics don't want to come free. There we go, a bit of help. Retain nut there, retain nut there. Nothing I'm going to worry about. Right, that was the front lever. Pulls that up and down, which pulled that cable there. So there was one grip pulled the cable going up through there on that side, and that one pulled the one on that side, and together they push this one down to operate that switch. So it's a two-handed operation. I can't think of any use for a little bit of cable like that, but I'll pop that in, save it for now. That's a bit too tight to get off. Right, what we got left? The motor. A brushed motor. I think when this came out, I suppose you could get brushless ones, but they weren't very popular on this sort of equipment. They are nowadays. When I was looking for a replacement, one of the options was a brushless powered hedge trimmer, which I rather like the idea of. But all I'm going to do here, I think, is just I'll cut the switch off. It might be useful. Or is that going to pull off? No, it's not going to pull off. Right. Capacitor. Let's do it easy. Just cut it. Okay, I will save the cable. That's always useful. I know there are people who would make use of that motor. One of the channels I follow, he often does stuff with something like this. But I'm not going to. I'm afraid that's going to go for scrap. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. And as I say, the only replacement parts I could find online for the, whatever I said it was, Power 550 HTB, is the brushes for the motors, which I don't need because it works. But yeah, that's one of the only thing I could find. Couldn't get anything else. So motor spins, turns that big gear there, and then we got two offset cams so that as they turn round, the blades that were going up here that had the circular bit on the end, or almost square shape, wasn't it, would be pushed in and out. I think that'll do. That's made enough of a mess. I'll tidy up, and that's it. Job done. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment so I know how I'm doing. And somewhere up here there'll be some links to related playlists. Thanks again.